Guys, what is up? Welcome to the Squeegee podcast. So happy to have you guys on here. Look forward to hearing your conversation, but I especially look forward to getting to know my friend here, Chris Ray. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How you doing, Mr. Gabe?
Oh, doing all right, man. Doing all right. So you own Vineyard View Window Cleaning. Is it Napa? What is your area in California?
So we are based out of Napa, California. I'm based out of Napa, California. I'm a solo operation through the valley of Napa. So that spans from Napa County, and in Napa County you have Yountville, you have Napa, St. Helena, Calistoga, Oakville, Rutherford. So they're all kind of rural farming communities that have been introduced to modern technology, multi-million dollar homes where you have wineries, having machineries, pick grapes.
Sure.
But it's been, it's beautiful here. I mean, it's California, so I really don't have many complaints when it comes to California.
Right. Well, so you are in a barn of one of your clients, right? So you're out there cleaning windows, and your client lets you go use their barn to film this interview. That's pretty crazy.
So when you asked me to be on, I said absolutely, and then I went back to my calendar, and I said, Mrs. Laura, I have an opportunity to be on this once in a lifetime podcast. I don't want to pass up this opportunity. Would you mind at 1 p.m. I take a moment to go step off, and I'll jump in the truck, turn the AC on, be out of your guys' way. And she said, don't be silly. Don't use your truck. Use the barn. I'm in an office, and I'm actually looking at a signed Aaron Rodgers jersey.
Oh, no way.
And behind me, there's a Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan signed photo. So, yeah,
that is so cool.
There's Brett Favre everywhere around me. So it's, customer's pretty cool. And their home is located about 200 feet away from me, and they sit on an 11-acre vineyard. So beautiful.
So do a lot of your customers have vineyards?
Most of them. Or they have a view of the vineyard.
Right. Because their neighbor,
So
if you're going to be looking at a beautiful vineyard, you got to have beautiful windows to look out of them, right?
I mean, my name of the business when I first started in the industry, I had this just awful name. I was like, I want to be, Blue Bucket Window Cleaning.
Oh.
And my wife goes, nobody's going to call you. Nobody's going to call you. The clientele you're looking for is not going to call you. You need something that just kind of rolls off the tongue.
Right.
Because in our demographic, in our and I do a lot of statistics. Like I look at a lot of numbers just so I can understand my consumer. And the first year it was like 85% women calling.
Right.
So I needed something that was just a little bit more feminine. Not feminine sounds like such the wrong word, but I needed something that a lady, a wife, a girlfriend is not going to want to call, Blue Bucket Window Cleaning. They want to call it like a Vineyard View Window Cleaning. And so it's been great. I mean, everybody loves the name. They get it. My wife, lays claim to all of that. That's truly her. This is her name.
It was very similar when we named ours. It was kind of like I was throwing out all these names, and she was just right from the beginning. Nope, Gabe Spotless, Gabe Spotless, Gabe Spotless. Yeah. And it was like, what about this? What about this? And it was like a half-hour discussion, and she just held firm. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You're right. It does kind of, like you said, it rolls off the tongue. It's just, our wives are more keen on that, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I think that, I try to attribute most to everything I do. Anything successful I've done has been an idea of my wife. And I say that, and people think I'm kidding, but it's like, no, seriously, most of her ideas, this is how my household works. She'll give me an idea, and then about 6 months from now, I'll come up with the same exact idea. And she'll go, "That's such a great idea. I think we should do it." And I'm like, yes, I'm a genius.
Yes, yes.
Come to find out, she's already had everything pre-planned, and so.
Right, right. Well, I just think we need, as business owners, we need to have the outside perspective, and our wives, they know us well enough, but they're not, unless they are in the business. Sometimes, husband and wives, they start the business together and they work on it. And I didn't necessarily do that in the beginning. She did join on later and has a lot more say in it now. But in the beginning, she definitely had an objective outsider's viewpoint of it. She's listening and hearing what things I'm going to do from a consumer standpoint. Like just like what you said, if I am this person I'm going to call, who am I going to call? Blue Bucket Window Cleaner, or am I going to call, Vineyard View? No, of course, it sounds better. So we got to listen to that sometimes. Sometimes we're kind of so caught in the weeds that we let some good ideas pass by because we aren't thinking about what the outsider's viewpoint of it is.
Yeah, and I think that's where I'm a solo operator, so it's just me cleaning windows. So when you call the business, I'm the one that picks up. When you text the business, I'm the one that texts you. I'm the one that does the estimate. I'm the one that does the work. I'm the one that hands you the invoice. I'm the one that says thank you.
Right.
So I have all day to absorb all of the information in every industry out there where, I'm out 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and I'm just absorbing information. And I go, well, I'm so bent on, I'm in the window cleaning industry, but I'll also listen to other podcasts where there's other service industries where they're like, hey, instead of walking out of their house not having the next date on the calendar, but the next date on the calendar so you can kind of guarantee your stuff. And then I kind of not role play that with my wife, but I'm like, hey, how do I incorporate that on the invoice? How do I incorporate that on the estimate? How do I incorporate it? And having her actually, her input is, it truly has made the business as successful as it's become because, I'm the face of the business. I do all the work, but she's the one that, here's an iPad, here's the QuickBooks. This is what you need to use. This is how it's going to be more efficient for you. This is what you should do. This is how you should do it. And conversations with her is just, and then she's also the mother of my 3 children.
That's a big plus.
And she also, she puts
tell
up
me,
my crap,
have you ever thought about hiring? Is that a goal in the future, or are you just planning on staying you in the business until you retire?
That's a tricky question. I want to hire the kids. I want to have my kids work with me. I think that's as far as I want to go with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't
unless they don't want to do
it. No, I don't care. They have to do it. I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old daughter who's getting ready to drive, and she thinks that Dad's just going to give her keys to the truck. No, she's got to come out here and clean some windows. She's got to clean some screens. She's got to clean. Yeah, she's got to do. She's got to do her part. But I'm busy enough to where I could hire somebody, but I also kind of like the freedom of not having to worry about a whole lot. When I say that, last week, for example, my wife was on a business trip. My 5-year-old has a stomachache. He's sick. He can't go to school.
Yeah.
I don't want to put an employee through that. And I think that's, I don't know if I'm being selfish, or I just don't know if I don't know if I want to deal with the headache. And I'm not saying it's a headache.
Well, it's both. Sure. Listen. Yeah, hiring is like dating. You're trying to find somebody that is going to fit what your needs are. So if you're going to hire somebody and you're just hiring somebody who isn't going to view their role as, important, or it's not going to be professional about it, they become a liability. And like you said, if you need them to take over and they're not in that position to be able to do that, well, that just ends up hurting your business. Oh, I think we lost I think we lost Chris. Hopefully he'll pop in again. Like you said, he's on a farm right now, so it's going to be a little hard for him to get in. But we can keep talking about that specific thing. You know, when you're hiring, there's going to be different things that you have to kind of keep in mind. So it has to be a good investment for you, right? It has to be a good move for you. And a lot of times when you're not able to hire, it's a number of different things. One, you don't have the infrastructure for it. So either you don't have enough work that can justify hiring. Number two, you don't have the means to be able to find someone who is reliable, either skilled or reliable, depending on whether you want to train or you want someone to come in who is not trained. Or three, you don't have the vision of where your company is going to be. I know when I first hired, I hired purely for the reason of I was too busy and I was working on weekends and I didn't want to work weekends. So I wanted someone to help me handle my load. But when I did, it wasn't the right time, right? I mean, I hired, I didn't have any type of insight on how to be a boss. I didn't have any type of insight on how I was going to be efficient. So now I've got someone who can help me with the work, but it was not efficient, right? And so what I found out was I was actually making less money for me, even though the business was making more money. So it was, it's one of those things where you have to kind of work it out. Sometimes it's the right move, and sometimes it's not. I think a big part of that also is personality. When you find that personality, hold on one second here. He's popping in here. Yeah, we lost you. Click the link again. All right, so hopefully he'll pop in a little bit. But you have to have the right personality to be able to do that. Like, I think some people suffer from the nice guy syndrome. You hire somebody, obviously you care about them, you want them to be happy where you're at. But what happens is they start, I don't know if they take advantage of you. That's not the right word, because sometimes it's just life. But, pretty soon they've got them asking for a lot of days off, or you've got them calling in last minute on maybe a reason that's kind of sketchy, like you wouldn't have called in for that. But at the same time, it's something enough that maybe you can understand why they would want to call in on it. Excuse me. So, yeah, those are the different things that keep in mind. If you don't have the right personality, hiring can actually be a detriment for it. So, hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
Sorry about that.
That's all right. That happens.
My Wi-Fi, multi-million-dollar Wi-Fi.
I think yours is better for sure. But I was just talking about how you have to be in the right mindset for hiring. If you're, if one personality wise, if you don't have that vision of how you want your business to grow, hiring too soon just because you feel like it's the next step, it can sometimes be detrimental. It can actually hurt your business.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we've been thinking. I'd rather just be a solo operation. I'd rather just be me. I'd rather maintain the low cost. The liability is just something that I don't know if I'm willing to inherit. And being in this industry, I know that there are people that you can pay under the table. I know that that's a whole operation. But the last thing I want to do is jeopardize anything I've got going on for the sake of landing another gig, landing another house, and putting myself into jeopardy is.
So I'm not someone who tells you how to run your business unless you ask me. But paying people under the table, man, it's just got trouble written all over it. Oh. It's just, I get it. And obviously if it's under $600, I think that's the limit that you can pay someone and not have to, worry about doing any taxes or reporting or any of that stuff. But man, the IRS can be relentless, and they get just wind of anything like that. I mean, it can destroy your company. So it's just better to be upfront, be above board.
I won't even touch them.
Yeah. Just don't put yourself in that position where you're vulnerable, because the IRS will not blink. They are just a machine, and they can come in there and shut you down. We have a couple of good questions here. One, Squeegee. First of all, I want to say hi to everybody who's popping in. Got Tyler Blue and Jessica Battle, who's also known as Squeegee Chick online. They're both awesome. They always watch us. I appreciate them. And then Kodrin Yorga, who I'm going to see this weekend. at the Window Clean Nation meetup in Utah. Looking forward to seeing you in person again, my friend. I always see him at the conventions. Just a super neat guy. I'll definitely have to have you on one of these times as well, Coach, for sure. But Jess asked a couple things. Actually, one thing in particular. Oh, and Scott Aaronkrantz just popped in, president of IWC. How's it going, Mr. Scott? So Squeegee Chick asked, Gabe, any stories where you hired a friend and it didn't work out? Was there any issue with relationships with them in the future? And I think that's scary too. I got the advice early on to not hire friends. Now I will say I do have a friend who we went up together. So I had been cleaning windows, I think about 3 or 4 years, and then he asked me if he wanted to, or he wanted to start his own business. So he worked for me for a little bit. Now, but he wasn't my employee. He was working with me and starting his own business. So we ended up working together, and then he ended up, he had his business, I had mine. Years later, I think it was 2018 or so, he called me up and said, "Hey Gabe, I have my business. I'm not really interested in growing. I've got my commercial accounts, and can I come on with you just to have some steady work throughout the week?" And so I hired him. So that's probably the closest I ever got to that situation. But here's a guy, veteran, right? He's been cleaning windows almost as long as I have. I've known him for years. Great work ethic, honest, good character. I had no problem hiring him because I had known him. I think when you get into trouble is when you don't really know the person well. So you have a friendly relationship or even a family relationship. You can know someone on those terms and not know what kind of a worker they are, not know what kind of an employee they are. And you have this great relationship as a friend, and you guys would die for each other, and then they come to work for you, and the other guy starts slacking off. Or maybe thinks because he's your friend that he can kind of take, I say he, could be he or she, they could take liberties because they have the relationship with you and maybe not do as good a job or ask for more days off than they should or whatever, and I think that's when you get into those problems, when they start treating you kind of, unprofessionally. You got to have a separation of friendship when it comes to that. You have to have the professional relationship and you have to have the friendship relationship. It's not recommended. Like I said, it worked out in my circumstance, but I think I had a very unique circumstance there. And I do know some people who have had wonderful relationships, or at least have hired and then became friends with them later on, right, through work. But that's a minefield when you think, oh, hey, I got this buddy, we get along great in the social setting. I'm sure we'll get along fine as an employee, and it's tough, man. It has to be a real special relationship. Have you ever had anything like that, Chris?
No. So what I've had is I'm influenced by a lot of businesses. And I think before I jumped off, or I think I fell off. One of the things that I was introduced to at a very young age of the business is I had a customer who owns the largest plumbing company in Napa. And he was talking and he said, "What are your thoughts on growing? What are your thoughts about expanding?" And I just said, "Yeah, no, I don't know if I'm there yet." Business was obviously in its infancy levels. And his exact words to me were, "Do not hire until it's absolutely necessary, until you can no longer purchase a tool that cannot do the job of an employee." And
that's good advice.
That made me start thinking, and I was like, okay, well, I've got this 28-foot window that I need to do. It'd be great if I had a ladder. And so you kind of jump online and like, what can I do? And then I realized water fed. And the moment I realized water fed, I was like,
sometimes that's like 2 or 3 employees.
I mean, just the house I'm at yesterday and today. I mean, the only way I'm making it out of here in 2 days is through water fed.
Yeah. Didn't you make a post about that? You were just like, this is the reason why I have water fed, and you had a big old house. Was that you?
It was 92 degrees and the sun was sitting on top of me. Wow. There's no way I'm getting on a ladder and I'm going to put I'm not going to put solution to glass in this situation.
Right.
But, there are some situations where it calls for squeegee and mop. There's situations where it calls for water fed. This situation where it
100%.
The skylights are 40 feet in the air. I'm not getting on a metal roof with running water and trying to clean a skylight like that. So, but yeah, no, I will steer clear of hiring unless it's my kids. My dream in life is to give it to them eventually, but based on their ambitions and what they're telling me that they want to do for their career, it doesn't sound like, you know, cleaning windows is top priority to them.
No, my daughter, when she was really little, she had fun with me. And, you know, of course, look, I made it fun, right? You know, she rode in the truck with me, and then I gave her a little baby Squeegee. And, you know, of course, she would do it. And then I had a candy store that was on my route. So we would stop at the candy store. So, yeah, you know, it wasn't real work, but she was like, oh, I'm going to be window cleaner. I'm going to be window cleaner. But now that she's older, that's all of a sudden changed. Now, all of a sudden, the idea of manual labor doesn't seem so appealing to her anymore. Now she wants an indoor job, but we'll see. I told her she has to learn. She's going to learn how to clean windows. Yeah. Even if she doesn't become a window cleaner, if she never works for me, she's going to learn how to clean it properly. So I'm going to teach her. But
at 16, at 16, the rule is with my daughters before she starts driving, she's going to learn how to clean screens. She's going to learn how to wipe down window seals. She might learn water fed because, I mean, when I'm inside enjoying the air conditioning, she could be outside sweating and enjoying that. But I think, I don't think I'll ever hire. I just don't think it's. I always hoped that my wife would be my, you know, my co-captain. But she's got a pretty awesome job. She gets to she gets to work in air conditioning.
Nice.
And so I wouldn't know what that's like unless the customer has air conditioning on their house. So.
Right. Well, anyways, if you do decide to hire your kids, or when it's that time and it works out, get in contact with Jake Van Orden so he can help you get your everything set up for you. Jake just popped in. He said, "Hey, late to the party. What's up, guys and gals?" So we appreciate him. He's the one that's throwing the little event there, along with some other people in Utah, which I'm really looking forward to get to meet a lot of people. So I think it's up to about 70. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake. I know it's a big crowd now. It started out just about 20 to 25, and now it looks like it's going to be a pretty good event over there. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, definitely. You can absolutely do really well as a single owner operator for a long time, but you do have to plan, right? There has to be some financial planning. You got to make sure your pricing is right, because it's so easy to just, you know, make just enough money to get by. And then if you find out you're 56, 57 years old, retirement's around the corner, and you don't have anything saved up. So Jake is really good about helping single owner operators have that retirement account, make the right decisions, budget it appropriately, and get that money in. So when you do retire, you've got something to show for. I think that's a really important thing that a lot of window cleaners don't even think about, because a lot of us, we just kind of fall into it.
I fell into this, so I'm inspired through family members and through people in other industries. And when I said I'm starting my own business, they said plan for retirement now. And through the years, my wife she does all the budget, the finances, and I just tell her how busy I am. I said, listen, Monday through Saturday I'll be working 10 hours a day, and on average she knows exactly what that means. And so there is a monthly goal that I achieve, and anything beyond that goal will go into either retirement, go into savings, go into anything else. And during the winter, I clean rain gutters, do pressure washing, solar panels, the whole 9 yards. So I'm not, I don't have to save for the winter months, because I've also learned through COVID is to have a great amount of commercial, but also have a tremendous amount of residential, and push your commercial more into the later months, the warm, cooler months. And so the budgeting and all that good stuff. And also HOAs are your best friends. I mean, it takes them a moment to pay, but they'll pay. And when they pay, it's one of those days where you're like, well, that's a nice little payday.
So tell me a little bit more about that. What are you doing with HOAs?
So I have a property manager. I have two property managers that I do a lot of work for here in Napa. One of them, and this is kind of the most interesting, I think I'm going to go against everything that our industry stands for, and I don't actually have a minimum. So I'll get out of the truck for $80.
You don't have to. Yeah.
But if you tell our industry like, wait, I won't get out of the truck for less than $200, it's like, stop. I'll get out of the truck for $80. That means it's going to take me about 20 minutes to clean about 6 windows. So I have a minimum. I don't have a minimum. I did this lady's house for $125. Come to find out, she manages almost every single commercial property in Napa.
Wow.
She comes to me and says, hey, I have a list of properties, and she hands me a list of properties, and I'm talking probably 25 to 30 properties, and she says, go get me estimates when you have a chance. I'll get text messages. In fact, this morning she says, hey, I have this address on this day. I have this address. Let me know when you can do it. And I shoot her a text. Well, she also manages HOAs. Their guy that was doing their work just wasn't shirt off at the property, parking in front of people's garages, smelling like smoke, smoking a cigarette, cleaning their windows. And I'm just like, and then you get me who shows up in a clean truck.
He's got a lit stogie just kind of hanging off of his lip while he's working. Is that what's going on?
I'll send you a photo. I just saw him actually this weekend, and I will send you a photo. And
please post it in the chat after we're all done here, because I definitely want to see that. Or send it to me and I'll post it in there.
And so I got hooked up with them, and advertising. I got my information on the back, so I go do these HOAs. Well, the HOA is only responsible for the exterior of the windows. Well, you put a door hanger on the door, and not one of these.
Right after you're done.
Yeah, and you just put them on. Well, I put the door hanger on before. So when I go to do HOA, so I do 70 condos, I'll put the door hanger on 1 week in advance, because I'm going to be in your front of your garage. I'm going to be in your backyard. I'm going to be on your patio. I'm going to be everywhere you probably wouldn't want an individual to be. Well, that gives them time to plan with their significant other, their spouse, or whoever, and say, hey, if he's already doing the outside windows, why don't we get him scheduled to do the inside of the windows? So then I put my business card on the bottom. So then at the end of the HOA, when I'm completed with the project, even though I've only been there a week, the following week, I will then be there for 3 or 4 more days, because I'm doing interior windows for customers that I've already done the exterior windows for. That has been probably the most beneficial, not contract, but one of the greatest. Mm-hmm. The HOA has been great. And then I also hooked up with a property manager who manages 3 or 4 HOAs, and I do their rain gutter cleaning for them. You want to talk about during the winter months when it's super slow, and you get the text message that says, hey, we need to start planning the rain gutters, and then you can just know exactly what and I change my prices accordingly, but I never significantly raise them, so they know exactly what they're going to pay today, tomorrow, and 10 years from now.
So with this HOA thing, so you're targeting communities where the people are renting in those communities. Is that correct?
No. So I don't know. I mean, because I know you're in Arizona. So imagine condos. So there's a condo complex in Napa. There's 70 homes there. There's 70 condos side by side. So she manages that. So she manages the landscaping. She manages the tow truck company. She manages all that. So they have to pay maintenance fee, or when you pay your HOA dues, it's a part of the HOA fee.
Oh, okay.
So they take it to the board and they vote. Hey, do we want our exterior windows clean? It gets voted on. They say yes. She says, great, I have my guy. He's already prepared an estimate for us. We can vote on this now. Then they vote on it. She calls me and gives me the green light, and we block off a section of, a week. And then what I do is, I want everybody to know I'm there, because I'm going to have a 20-foot ladder in front of your garage door. So I'm going to knock on your door and be like, I'm like, hey, Mr. Gutierrez, I'll be cleaning your windows today. Just friendly reminder that I will have a ladder, and if there's restrooms amongst the house, please close the blinds so I can respect your privacy. And they go, oh, thank you so much. Hey, did you get my text message? I want the interior windows done too. And I said, yep, absolutely. I talked to your husband. I'll be here Monday morning at 9 a.m. to do the interior windows. So then I bill the HOA for the exterior windows, and then I bill the homeowner for the interior windows. And that's been
interesting.
That was during COVID. That was one of the biggest things that got us through COVID, was just kind of finding those HOAs and sticking with them. So it's
so this is from one property manager. Have you like added others, talked to other property managers, and how did you go about getting those if you did? What was your strategy? And because I know when I talk to property managers, they look at me and their eyes roll back in their head because they're like, oh gosh, another window cleaner pitching to me. And I'm trying to think about how do you sell yourself in a way that makes it attractive to them, where they're just not going to throw you in the pile of papers of other vendors and contractors who are trying to get you to pay for their work.
So I'm fortunate that I can say that in our valley here, I'm maybe one of 5 window cleaners companies. So that's one of 5.
That's really nice.
And our market is not diluted. Now there are times where we get saturated with the college kids putting up the
sure
$99 window cleaning, and the next thing you know, I'm getting called out to come clean up their $99 window
mistakes.
Fix the mistakes. And then they realize that I'm an actual window cleaner, and it sounds silly to say I'm an actual window cleaner, but
no, that's absolutely the truth. I tell you what, I mean, how many conversations do we have to have with people who are like, oh, so what do you do, window cleaner? It's just, they just think it's you wipe a rag with some Windex. How complicated is it? But then, like you say, they see the results, and then that's what we try to sell for sure. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but go ahead.
No. And what's interesting is the way that I met this HOA was, again, I don't live in a heavily populated town. I live in a town, I used to live in a town of about 1,000 people. Well, a lot of those are vacation homes. Well, with a lot of those being vacation homes, there's a property manager, and I just so happened to get connected with him by a customer's house that I had done.
Okay.
And they said, hey, I have this property manager friend of mine, and they're looking for somebody to clean rain gutters. So I started doing a bunch of his properties, and then after I did his properties, he got done. He didn't retire, but he quit one property. Well, that property then found my information, and they reached out and they said, hey, we'd like to continue on service with you. Sounds like we've got a great rapport with you, so let's keep it rolling. And that new property company is the new up-and-coming property company in the valley. And so now I'm doing all of their work through the valley.
Okay.
And they manage properties, commercial properties, they manage residential properties, they manage rental properties, they manage a lot. One of my other customers, the other one that gave me about 35 properties, those are anywhere from like 8 windows to 800 windows. And so the biggest thing I can take away from, how do you meet these people, is just be genuine to the house I'm at now. I'm going to be nice and courteous to the people I am here. And they're going to refer me to their neighbors. They're going to refer me to their neighbors, their friends. The customer's house I'm at right now, her husband just flew out to New York, and she's going to go have a dinner date with her girlfriends at 6 p.m. tonight. And guess what? The topic of conversation is going to be, is the window cleaner was at my house. Oh, let me have his business card. And before I leave, every time I leave, I give you 2 business cards. This customer probably has 26 business cards.
Right.
But I will continue to hand those to her because, I'm the stereotypical, I don't spend any money on advertising because that's just how small and niche my community is.
Right.
But upon being a small niche community, when I got into the industry,
Oh, looks like we lost him. Oh, there you are. Good. I thought you dropped off totally again.
No, that was my wife calling. That was the boss calling.
Oh.
But Well, I forget what I was saying. It just escaped me. In any case.
You're just talking about the small community. You get the
in a
property
small
managers.
community, right as I got into this industry, one of the predominant window cleaners developed a brain aneurysm and fell ill.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
And then one of the another one passed away. So I kind of fell into this like
little dip.
And I fell into this like, hey, my window cleaner passed away, and I was like,
yeah.
And it's interesting, but one of the funniest stories of my life was I was operating when I first started this business. I worked in corporate America for 25 or 20 years, 15 years. And I was like, God, I really just need to start my window cleaning business. I need to start it. And then the next thing I know, my wife looked at me one day and said, hey, I think it's a perfect opportunity for you to start your business. And I was like, no, corporate America is going so great. She goes, no, listen, I think you should do it. So I go out and do it. And so I'm operating out of I've got the Home Depot equipment. I'm a quintessential beginner. I've got I think I'm God's gift to this green earth. I'm jumping on, window cleaning nation. I'm jumping on all the forums, and I'm on, the best in the world. And quickly was I humbled. I pulled up to a gas station, and I had magnetic vineyard view window cleaning things on the side of a Dodge Charger. And
a Dodge Charger.
I made it work. Here's the best part. I would park down the street and I would carry the equipment, and so you wouldn't see me. Well, I pull up, and there was the biggest window cleaning company in Napa. And he gets out of the truck, and I get out of my Dodge Charger, and he goes, another window cleaner? And I was like, oh yeah, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Chris. I've heard so many great things about your business. And I put my hand out to shake it. He doesn't shake it. He looks at me and he goes, I'll put you out of business. Don't worry. I said,
whoa.
All right, cool. So that was 8 years ago. There's been conversation that he wants to have a conversation with me because he'd like me to purchase his routes.
Yep.
And I said, no, not interested. I don't care what his catalog looks like. I won't be interested just based off of that sheer, blatant.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what, man? Like we don't have to be like that. Yeah. And that's the problem is like I have that ego that's like no. I'm gonna outwork you. I'm gonna outshine. I'm gonna prove to you. Not prove to you, but I'm going to prove to myself that I belong in this industry. And 8 years running.
Well, just on that note, I've been wanting to pop this in. The opposite end of the spectrum, super nice guy, Steve O popped in. He just said howdy. He wanted to say hi to you. I know you have a really good relationship with him. You buy your stuff from WCR from Steve, right? He's your salesman.
Yes. Well, so I was going to save this till the very end. But I wanted to give you your flowers and your respect. And I wanted to give it to Steve-O because you were two of the most genuine dudes in this industry that I could. I look up to you, and I look up to your brand, and I look up to, the hike with you and your wife that you did just a couple of days ago when you posted on your own personal Facebook. It was like you could see your wife smiling behind you, and you could see that's a genuine, the way you talk to people, the way you give back to our industry, the way that you are just, you're just a genuine, solid dude. And I think our industry should be grateful that you're a part of it. And, if a window cleaner goes down, you're the first to jump in and be like, hey, we've got an auction going on. And the same goes for, Steve-O. I talk to Steve-O probably, I'd say every other day. And sometimes I vent my frustration out with the industry with him. And, there's times where Steve-O actually got me out of burnout about a year ago. I'd hit the wall and I was burnt out. I didn't want to clean another window. And he was like, maybe, it sounds like you just need to take some time off. And I was like, you don't know what I'm going through, Steve-O. And I was like, wait, as a matter of fact, you do know it, you know.
Probably
So
more than anybody, right?
so both you and Steve-O deserve, you know, the highest accolades our industry has to offer, because I mean, you two just you guys are just genuine, and I don't say this because I'm on your podcast. Like it's a genuine. You know, I talked to my wife about like that video you posted yesterday. You know, not to edit videos, and then you're cleaning, and then you got the little cats in the background. It's just like, you know, I could imagine somebody posting like, "Oh, that's not funny," or "That's not professional." It's like,
yeah.
We gotta have fun with our industry. Our industry is about having fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we literally just clean bird poop off windows, and we're therapists, and so you first and foremost deserve, you know, the highest honor. So I'll cheers to you and with a monster.
Hey, there you go, monster. Yeah.
I mean,
so Chris and I are kind of meme friends, and we
yeah.
both send each other every monster meme that we come. Monster and fishing, so we'll send each other those. But
yeah,
that's kind of our inside joke is drinking monsters.
It's funny because I never thought in a million years that I would join in like be a part of this industry where it's like I'm on a podcast. Like I'm not supposed to be on a podcast. Like I'm just a window cleaner that cleans windows for people. Like I'm not supposed. Our industry was never supposed to be what this industry has become, and it's people like you, it's people like Steve-O, it's industries, or it's like, I mean, WCR, who's, you know, got their platform where they're, you know, they're doing daily giveaways. They give back to our community. If we get a down window cleaner, you know, they're first to jump in. And I think that our industry has come so far in the last 10, 15 years, not just technologically advanced, but like peers. Like you're meeting with people, you're setting up these events to go hang out with people. You're, you know, that thing that a gentleman won that you actually like hand delivered to him.
Oh yeah. He was in here. I don't know if he's still in or not. I know he works during the day, but Tyler, he's here in our neighborhood. Yeah.
And then the funniest thing was last year or 2 years ago, there was a gentleman that won speed cleaner, and then you guys were in the hotel lobby chasing each other, or you were chasing him around the hotel lobby.
Yeah, that was Joel. Yeah, I missed Joel.
And it's just like having an industry like that, because I know there's other industries out there that are, you know, nobody talks to anybody, and so it's truly, you know, to be a part of this industry, to actually, you know, get to talk to people. And there's actually another gentleman that I'll take a moment, and I don't know if you've ever met him, or Jacob Longcrier.
I've not met him. I've never met him. We have interacted before online, but really nice guy. Yeah.
Never met him. I've maybe talked to him like 5 times, just via like holy wow, man, that's really awesome. Dude works every day, like every moment of his life. Like he just works, and I'm like, so if you're ever looking for inspiration, tap into the window cleaning industry, and you'll see these boys work, and men and women work. You'll see us all. But yeah, that Jacob Longcrier, he's like, oh, it's 11:52. I'm still working, and I'm like, people aren't yelling and screaming at you. He's got the headlamp on. I mean, this dude is dedicated.
Yeah.
And I believe he has employees. I don't know his entire story, but yeah, he's my quiet inspiration. So he gets my, you know, I tip my hat off to him. So whenever I'm having a day, I literally say, you know, what would Gabe do at this point? And it typically gets me through the day. And then there's times where I get frustrated, and I'll reach out to Steve-O, and I'll be like, hey, Steve-O, why did you do that, man? Why did you post it? Why did you say that this was a great tool when it's not? And he's like, flip the Velcro around. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense now. Thanks a lot. It's the greatest tool I've ever bought in my life. And so, and then there's, you know, we all have our industry favorites. And so, you know, it's truly, you know, we truly have an industry of remarkable individuals.
Yeah, I just want to totally agree with you on that. I think there's a lot of people, and especially in the last 2 years or so, just that feeling. I think we've always been drawn. I mean, because, you know, people have wanted that desire to be kind of close knit, and that's what the conventions are for and all that. That's existed for a while. but I just think it's being refined, and I think there's more people like that. Well, just like Goo and Deeds, you know, Jason Gulick and Mark Kladinsky, they have their podcast that they do every morning. They do such a great job as well of just trying to be positive and trying to be supportive. And same thing, you know, Jason is one of the first ones. Like we had a gentleman who, if you remember, he had his trailer stolen on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And, you know, I reached out to him. He was in Arizona. I knew Jason was nearby. Jason was like, yeah, dude, let's do something. We got several people together who created some equipment. We met up there in Phoenix and just had a great time, man, you know, and that was not funded by rich people. That was just, hey, people cared. He's in the industry. Can we help? We can. Let's do it, you know, and you only get that when you're amongst people who are selfless and just want to give of yourself. I'm glad that you count me in that group. I really try to be. Obviously, you know, we're all imperfect. We all have our own things that we have to do. But I feel like there's more people who are in prominent positions who have that desire, you know, and want to help and give back to the industry. I think that's really, really cool.
I think wanting to see people succeed is like the new, you know, I remember, you know, 5-6 years ago where I would see another window cleaner in the valley and I was like, oh, I've got to be, you know, I've got to be Mr. Negative. And it's like, no. There's enough windows for all of us out here to clean. Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, I've been in the industry 7-8 years and I'm like, I need to go to a convention. I need to go to a convention.
Yeah, we got to get you.
And I'm always like, I always tell my wife, I'm like, I'm going to the huge convention. I'm going to the International Window Cleaning Association convention. And then I'm like, oh, hey, honey, look, they're at the convention now. And she's like, I thought you were going to go. I'm like, yeah, I was going to go.
Yeah. Well, hey, we've only got a little bit of time left. I don't want to leave before I promote a couple things that you've done. So one thing that we have in common is you and I are both Ettore craftsmen, right? So you put out some videos about maybe 3 years ago or so.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah. And you did some shots and it was just kind of basic training. I'm going to play the intro of one just so people can get a flavor. You can go to the Ettore YouTube channel and see some of the stuff that Chris has put together, but I'll play one here.
The next thing I'm going to show you is how I start. What I do is I take my washer, I place it into my bucket. I then take we're going to fill up 2 gallons. So I take my 2 capfuls, pour it in, take my other capful, pour it in. The reason I put the T-bar in the bucket is you want the water and you want the bucket to be soapy, but you don't want it to be so soapy that the only thing that's on the glass are suds. So when I go to add water to my bucket, I let it run on my washer and not in the bucket itself.
All right, so I wanted to include that little part.
I was reminiscing.
Yeah. I just thought it's such a good tip. It's such a simple, basic tip that I know that I always struggled with that, with having my suds too soapy when I was first starting out.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned how to run the water on the side of the bucket so it doesn't, splash. But putting your T-bar in there, I just thought that was such a brilliant tip. I think more people need to know about that. It's really, really good. So
you have a buffer, and that's the thing. That was actually shot in 2021, so that was 5 years ago.
That was a while ago. Wow.
So behind the scenes is the Ettore production team. That's my actual house. The Ettore production team, I believe it was Chris and I believe one of his peers.
Felicia?
I believe so. They were fully masked. We're in the heart of COVID right there.
Oh, wow.
And you'll notice I had polka dots. Now I have a full-blown sleeve.
So. Full sleeve, yeah.
Yeah, no,
nice.
it's we overcomplicate it to the point where it just no longer makes sense anymore. So once you kind of go back to, back to the basics.
Back to basics,
yep. And that truly was what it was going back to basics. And there's a lot more. There's a couple of where I'm, cleaning screens and, actually like, so yeah, go check those out. Those are informational. You can go on YouTube and check out all of that, how to clean a window. Everybody pops up. So it's.
Yep. Okay, I got one more video I want to show you, but yeah, definitely watch Ed Ray. Now this one, you did 3 video review videos, and it was when your back was hurt and you had some time, right? So first of all, before I play this, can you give us an update on how your back is?
Yes, I went to the doctor. So I had a slip disc of 35%. So the disc was bulging out 35%, and due to medical miracles, they said, all right, yeah, we'll just put a shot in your back. So they put a shot in my back, and it gave me time to heal. And so, yeah, now we're back to being fully operational.
Nice. Okay, good to hear, because you talk about it, and I don't want people thinking I'm being a jerk by playing it. Okay,
no, we're all good.
Hold on, let me play the video.
It's Chris with Vineyard View Window Cleaning, back with another multi-million-dollar production for your viewing pleasures. Today's video is sponsored by water, because I just had a doctor's appointment, and come to find out it's actually a herniated disc, so that's been cool. MRI on Friday. Also, I'm in a high fire risk area, which means we've got helicopters flying around. We've got CAL FIRE down the way. We actually have a turkey across the street. So it's pretty wild today. Yeah, so today's review, this one was actually requested. You know who requested it. It's going to be towels. And I'm just going to go through the towels that I use. Again, I'm just doing this because I've had to take a few days off of work to let said herniated disc recover. So, yeah, it's been difficult. So I'm just trying to find a little bit of solace in the window cleaning world. So I'll go through my specific towels. It's more of a review, I guess. I don't know if it's much of a review, but so I'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, so Chris has 3 of them, and they are all gems like that. I absolutely love how you're just talking to us like we're just sitting there. We're just sitting there on the bed of your truck, and tailgate, just kind of chewing the fat. You're just talking, and you're like, oh, there's turkeys right across the street. And every single one is like that. Every single one is a gem. So please go to Vineyard View Window Cleaning on YouTube and just watch the 3 videos. Are you going to put any more out for us?
I'll eventually put more out. So I look at Steve, like I said, I look at Steve-O and I see what Steve-O does, but Steve-O has the capability of like editing videos to be like actual masterpieces.
Yes.
And
I think these are masterpieces, Chris. I think these are right up there.
Those were brought to you. Those were brought to you by water and hydrocodone. So Vicodin. So I was. If you'll notice, I hadn't left my house in like 3 days because I actually needed to. Yeah, I mean, I have so many ideas, but it's actually putting like the concept in it to it, because then you start posting them and people are like, oh, Steve already did that. Oh, X already did that. Y already did that. Z already did that. And it's just like, I just like to have fun. And I think that
here's the thing about that though. Steve has probably have like 10 videos about that topic. He just keeps redoing it because things change and attitudes change, point of view change, his life changes. So he'll just do it again. He doesn't have any shame on that. And that's important because, like I have some videos that I've recorded like 6 or 7 years ago and they're fine. They hold up for the most part, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, if I do it now, if I were to do that video now, I would change this and this and this about, because I'm in a different point in my life. And also I know what the audience is looking for now, a little better. So you should just do it. Don't ever say, oh, well, they've already done it. I don't need to do it now. Do your version of it. That may resonate with someone that the other ones don't,
I know, but I know that, and I could do it. And I talk to my wife about all the time, just doing it, because And instead of actually being a production, it's actually just a video of me, just a 12-minute video of my phone or my iPad. And like you get to hear that I live in a high fire danger area.
Right.
You know, so I do think about doing it sometimes, and then I also think like, am I providing any value? Is anybody out there actually seeing it that would provide value?
So first of all, I just put that intro part. He actually has really good analysis on all of his videos, so it's not just fluff. The stuff that he says, if you watch the full video, all 3 of them, he actually has really good information in there. So there is value on the technical front. But I personally, I loved the personality of the videos because it's so unlike. Usually everything is so tight and so edited just perfectly, and everything's so swift and quick. And I just loved you just taking your time, looking around. Hey, you know, this and that. Just hey, the helicopter's right above, you know.
Yeah, you know what? Great. Yeah, I will probably eventually go back to doing them just for fun, but I also don't. You know, I also think that I try to do this, leave the squeegee in the truck thing.
Yeah.
When I'm home, that's it. There's no business being conducted. And, you know, there are times where I find myself where I'm like, it'd be funny if I did a video about, you know, because I did one about the water-fed, the zero brush.
Oh, right.
I did one about steel wool. And
I like the steel wool one. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, you can do so many things. Like there's one where, I mean, the video is actually of me, and I'll have to send it. Eventually I'll have to post it. It's me putting Dawn dish soap in a bucket, and then it's me adding monsters into the bucket. But instead of actual monsters, it's just water I'm putting into the bucket. So, I mean, I'll have to post something like that. But
yeah, for sure.
It's just,
well, hey, we are out of time, man, unfortunately, and I got a hard out just because I got to go pick up my daughter from school today.
I got to clean windows.
Man, it has been a blast talking with you, Chris. I just appreciate your support. You're very kind, and the things that you said about me, and like I said, it's not just me. There's a lot of people in the industry like that. I think we're in a special time, and I just appreciate having you in my corner and supporting us. And hopefully I do get to meet you at a convention soon, man.
We are going to be in Arizona in July. We're going to be at the end of July. So you look out for a text message. But yeah, thank you, Gabe. Thank you for everything that you do for our industry. Seriously. I mean, this industry you're a great representation of us, and thank you for putting your best foot forward and making us look way better than we actually are.
Well, right back at you, man. Thank you guys so much, and thank everybody who chimed in, who had some really good stuff. Again, just keep tabs. We have a lot of really special things coming up this week. Tomorrow, I'm going to be having on Scott Ehrenkrantz and Clint, who's the president of the IWCA, and Clint Reynolds. He's the president of the PWNA. We're going to have a special edition of the Squeegee podcast tomorrow. 3:30 Eastern. I'll post some more stuff on it just so everybody's aware. We'll put in Window Clean Nation as well. But it's going to be a really good conversation all about the Elevate Part 2 that we're going to have next year. It's exciting. We have some really cool things to share. But also this weekend, Window Clean Nation meetup in Utah, Salt Lake City. If you can make it there, even if maybe you got to drive an hour just to get there, please join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We appreciate all the hard work that's gone into putting that all together. So you guys take care. Anything on the way out here, Chris? Anything you want to share?
If you're getting into the industry, check out www.squeegeeuniversity or squeegeu.com.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. You guys take care. We will see you next time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.